Hello channel viewers, I am DS your psychologist and welcome to another episode on channel NITT. So just 1 week ago, I had a very interesting experience. I was trapped in a bus for 20 minutes.
Trapped on the bus all alone.
So this is not an incident that happens on a regular basis. Actually, it was my first time that I encountered such an event. So ENTJs may also encounter very unusual events from time to time. How do they react to it? So I am going to share this interesting experience and how I reacted during this event, so you get to know how an ENTJ is likely to react in similar events. Okay, so let's start the storytelling mode. I was going to board a bus to go to my office. So at the bus stop there was a man, let's just call this Mr. A, who was carrying a luggage, and both of us boarded the same bus. Very strangely, for the entire journey, there were only 2 passengers, me and Mr. A. So the bus actually travelled 4 bus stops before it had to eventually stop because Mr. A started abusing the bus driver verbally. So what actually happened? I went to the upper deck and then Mr. A, because he had a luggage, was sitting at the lower deck. Mr. A was talking on his phone very loudly. So after 2 bus stops, the bus driver started to warn Mr. A to switch off his phone or to stop talking on his phone. Because in Singapore, it is prohibited to talk on the phone while on the bus. So the bus driver had the responsibility to remind the passenger that they should not talk on the phone while in the bus. This Mr. A is one thing. He was talking, first of all, very loudly. And when the bus driver told him, Mister, please stop talking on the phone, he ignored this person totally. It was quite obvious because while I was upstairs, I could hear entirely what is going on. The conversation that Mr. A is having on his phone is extremely loud. I know what the content is. So in a nutshell, he's talking about buying a car. So he's talking to a person, I would assume that this person is an agent, about the price of the car or the price of the certificate of entitlement. Later when I came down to the lower deck, I realized that Mr. A and the bus driver are actually very near to each other. But apparently the bus driver was starting to shout at Mr. A. This is because Mr. A is deliberately ignoring the bus driver when the bus driver is giving Mr. A a stern warning. Mr. A will give a lot of excuses like, I'm the only person in the bus, or I am on the phone, it's an emergency. No, that kind of a thing. So immediately when I was upstairs, I was thinking, this Mr. A must be a P-type. Eventually, by the 3rd bus stop, Mr. A had to switch off his phone, and the next thing that happened was that Mr. A started taking pictures of the bus driver. So this was when the bus driver started to intercom the headquarters for advice and for help. The headquarters say that they are going to lodge a police report. The police will be coming. So the bus stopped by the side of the road while waiting for the police to come. Initially, the bus driver wanted to let me out of the bus, but the moment the door opened, the passenger also wanted to exit. The bus driver did not allow the passenger to exit, so the door was closed. The bus driver wanted to let me out using the back door, but again the passenger A followed. So in the end, I said, okay, no problem, I will wait. The quarrel between the bus driver and passenger A continued. Bus driver A said that he did not shout, but passenger A insisted that he was shouting and he wanted to sue the bus driver with his lawyer. Actually, a lot of the times, when you look at this kind of an individual, obviously a P-type, they got really nothing better to do. The passenger A even asked me, he's shouting right? He's shouting right? He's trying to get me to move to his side or to side with him, passenger A. But I said, never mind, I'll just sit at the back of the bus. Luckily, I was not in a rush, so I was just enjoying the show. It was something very unusual for me because this is the first time I ever got trapped in a bus because of this incident. And very interestingly, there were no other passengers. Just the 2 passengers, me and Mr. A.
Just me and you.
Mr. A was really, in my opinion, exceptionally rude. The bus driver was doing his job. So he explained that he needed to remind passenger A that he cannot use the phone while in the bus. It's his responsibility. And since passenger A refused to listen, so he had to say it again and using a higher volume. But unfortunately, this event escalated to become a case whereby they had to get the police to settle. So the wait for the police was rather long. I was actually expecting that maybe within 3 to 5 minutes the police would have arrived because it was in the town area. But no, the police did not arrive quick enough. When the bus driver intercom headquarters again and said that he had to keep the passenger in the bus because the passenger is now shouting, the headquarters told the bus driver that they are not allowed to keep any passenger in the bus. If the passenger had to leave or wanted to leave, then he must open the door. They said that never mind, even if the passenger had to leave, they had CCTV footage, so they had enough evidence. Actually, if they had wanted me to be a witness, I could have been, but I did not volunteer myself. Nonetheless, the bus driver had to open the door, so I exited. I did not know what happened after that because I just walked all the way out of that bus stopped. But I did remember one thing. I asked the bus driver if they could cancel my bus fare. Why? Because my trip did not complete, right? So it's unfair to me, what? Looking back at the incident, I think that it's very clear as an ENTJ, I know who is in the right and who is in the wrong. But I usually do nothing about it because I don't want to get involved. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. So I presume a lot of ENTJs are likely to do the same. They might evaluate the situation. A lot of time may be wasted if they were to stand witness. They don't have this FI where they need to stand for the rights of human beings. So the likelihood is, if we are not someone to become witnesses, of which in this case if I were asked to, then I will, we don't go the extra mile for other people. That is why a lot of people find ENTJs very cold and distant and very unemotional, non-compassionate. So through the event, I realized that yeah, this image might really be true because it's very easy for us to say, okay, I want to donate, and then we donate. But this event is unexpected. So it really brings out the true ENTJ. So fellow ENTJs, what would you do if you were in the same situation? In my case, I just chose not to be a busybody. It's none of my business. I just walked away. So do share with me what you think you would do if you were in the same situation. Okay, at Channel NITT, we produce a lot of MBTI videos, especially the ENTJ videos, because I'm an ENTJ and I just like to share my life via the videos so that people can get to know the ENTJ better. So if you have enjoyed this video, do give us a like. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more ENTJ, MBTI and fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye bye!